What's up, y'all? This is your host, Minato, and welcome to another episode of Mimosas with Minato. So I'm gonna need you to sit back, relax, and let's talk about life. We got a hard look today. It's one of those days. All right, y'all. So for today's episode, I want to talk about depression and drug use in I don't want to say the gay community and males in general, but let's introduce ourselves, starting with our new guest and then on our way down.
I'm Amos. Agos goes crazy. That's my whole government. I'm the second Amos in my family. I get the name from my grandfather, who was Jamaican, Chinese, and I'm an artist. Right now I'm just writing as the spirit moves me, and I'm the spirit, and I'm here and I'm offering what God has to put through my third chakra, right?
Yeah. And what's your Instagram so people can follow you?
You can follow me at that television show. So it's gonna be that_ television show. And my designing profile can be found at Warefamos. 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 Warefamos.
And I'll tag you at that, and because I was. I'm your host, Minato. You can follow me at Mimosas with Minato, or you can follow me on my personal IG page, Kelly Rowland Blunts.
Jair, aka J Infinity. You can follow me at _Emerald Phoenix _ singer model spiritual advisor. I'm here to speak on that speak.
My name is Terrence, aka your baby father. My IG is a million styles, and I'm here to chat. It's good.
Alrighty, let's start. So basically, I want to touch base on more of male behavior in a sense of in today's society, and how a lot of signs of depression in men a lot of people cannot see, and then how coping mechanisms of depression affect our community as a whole. So now I'm pretty sure everyone here, if not, I'm going to educate, is familiar with the term party and play, right?
Well, yeah, but for those who don't know,
party and play, in a sense, is basically slang for do you want to have sex, hook up, and do drugs with it? But most specifically, methamphetamine, yeah, right? That's how you say it. Tina, white girl? No, that's cocaine. Okay, well, yeah, I don't know all the terms, but this is a term I've been figuring out. So, in my years, I think it's different now as I'm growing up, because I would say I got more exposed to, not to say I've done methamphetamine, but I've been exposed to it very young. I was young, and I remember I was young and dumb, and it was a hookup, and then I went to the guy's house, and he had the pipe. I thought it was weed. Oh, we about to smoke a bowl. So I brought my bowl out, here I'm about to smoke my weed, and then he burnt something, and I was like, this doesn't smell like, what do you, he's like, no, just take a hit. I was like, what is this? He's like, it's Tina. I was like, I don't know what Tina is, so I'm not gonna do that. But I'm not familiar with Tina and what the effects does. I do know it's a sex drug, right? Correct.
Well, it can be used for sex, but the drug is a drug in itself. Whatever people use it for is whatever they use it for. I was exposed to that drug as well. Also in a similar setting, you go on Jacked or those other app profiles at the time when I did have them. And you go and people are like, okay, well, we're gonna engage in this sex party, whatever. There's porn, there's people there, there's people getting it on. But what's also present is that drug, Tina, or crystal meth. And essentially what it's supposed to do for people who it's supposed to work for, it's supposed to keep you up, it's supposed to keep you horny, and it's supposed to keep you going. And for me, it was also a situation where they pulled it out and I wasn't confused about what it was. But for me, I'm more inquisitive, so I actually took a chance and took it. And then when I actually found out what it was and got the clarity about what it was, I stopped. But then at the end of the day, I only took a few hits and it was what it was. I had some type of effects. And that stuff is crazy because after that one point I realized I didn't want to take that anymore because it kept me up and it also had the effect of making you like not hard for like a few hours until you finally do get hard, and then all you want to do is have sex. So it's just really weird. And I'd rather like operate in that mechanism with my own will and my own choices rather than these urges that are pushing me from these strange drugs. But you know, at the end of the day, it's not for me, and I can't even necessarily honestly say that I don't necessarily judge people that do it, because at the end of the day, you have to be able to put yourself in that place and take that drug to enjoy that, and it just doesn't serve me. So I guess it doesn't serve me, so I don't do it. But I did try it. So.
Well, for me, like I've seen, it was very like surreal moments, because it's like I've experienced so much from so much people. I didn't know it was such a common thing. I remember back then it was like, meth is whack, don't smoke crack, don't smoke weed, and now here I am like, oh, I smoke weed, all right, what's next in the drug pool? And then I never got to that level of meth, and I've been in situations where I've watched people do meth around me, and it just looked like they were zombies, just on autopilot, humping, like, and I was just like, most people really do party and play, like it's more for group sex, where everyone can stay up and fuck each other until it wears off. But then I heard word side effect was like depression. Like you get really, really, really sad after that. And it does make you do things that you normally wouldn't. I've been in a situation where I've been with, it was the top, and he did it, and then he was all, I'm bent over, oh, fuck me. And I'm like, wow, so this makes you step out of your body.
Yeah.
And in that, I mean, I'm not condemning people who don't use condoms, but it was very like kind of pushback for me to see like a group of people having sex on this drug, not control, too open or free, and then no protections involved. They invited me to a hotel. I'm thinking it was like a regular. I wanted to try a group thing. You know, I want to experience thing. I'm trisexual. You know, it was a group setting. I was like, okay, I'll go there, see what the vibe is. I told them I'm gonna chill first to see what the vibe is. They were all on tea, drunk all over this hotel room, just wandering. One dude just humping dude for like a good 20 minutes, and he don't even look like he enjoyed it. Like he was just there, and I was just like, I don't get like what's the sensation of this drug? I've had one guy when I was very young try to introduce him, like, come smoke. I was like, no, and then he tried to give me like contact, like the second hand, like blow it in my face, and I was like, no, this smells really bad. I don't want to partake in it, but I do. Do you feel like it's an issue in the gay community? Because it's like I've read articles where it says meth use has gone up, you know?
Do you have anything to say about it?
No.
Okay. Well, for me, like I feel like sometimes I come across guys that do use it, and like, you know, what I do realize is that their personalities change. Like they're very like, sometimes they're really hyper. Sometimes they have like a million ideas at once, but then they can't execute it because they can't even physically get into everything they want that's rushing in their head. Like they can't sleep, they don't eat for days. And I feel like no matter what the drug is, if whatever the use, I don't think that at that point that drug is healthy for you if it's preventing you from eating or sleeping. And those are essential things we need as human beings. And then it's also the excessive use of it, because there's like a lot of accessibility to it, and like in those particular scenes for people who are on apps and who go to those type of things frequently, that drug is present. And I just don't think it's probably going to be good for us in the long run. It just causes people to act really irresponsibly, in my opinion.
Okay, all right. So do you think that the increased usage of Tina is linked to male depression? Now, I feel like in terms of male depression, how I boast about it, or I've read somewhere, a lot of people don't see signs of male depression. And I know that, I don't want to say that the gay male community is depressed. I think it's more of we're trying to find reasoning or coping to life, and within dating with our community, dealing with outside life, dealing with interpersonal relationships, that it made people feel like the need to, I was told that like signs of male depression can be increased drug use and increased sexual activity to some degree. What do you feel about that? Like, well, everyone here.
Well, before we like really move forward, the drugs and depression. Are you talking about like drugs happening as a product of depression?
Yeah, drugs and the product. Like, I'm doing this because this is how I deal with life, but I'm becoming a heavy drug user in the process to cope.
Coping.
Yes.
Okay. I'm curious about like accessibility. That's just like one thing that pops up into my head.
Accessibility, yeah, I would say it's definitely easy. Like, especially now I can see it on Grindr Jack. People have, like, first it was profiles specifically, I push Bud. Now it's, I push Tina. Like, I did, like, what are the dollar amounts for this? Like, it's really accessible. Like, people are more open to sell it on those apps. But I think it's more, if you're on the apps, I don't think you can normally get it by means of, like you said, if you're living your everyday life. But if you're, like, in that realm,
it's more accessible on the apps.
Yeah, on the
apps. Like you scroll through, you'll probably find it. Versus like if you walk around day to day, people are not advertising it as much.
Yeah, because I feel like people are ashamed that they do it in person, but on the apps it's a whole different ballgame.
Well, I mean, I can't necessarily speak for that because I'm not a frequent user. But for people that do frequently use it, I mean, I know one person that does, and they wouldn't do it in front of me. I know, so at that point, I guess there's a certain measure of shame to it. But they never expressed like, oh, you know, I feel terrible for using this. You know, they probably use it, they just won't do it in front of me, I guess. So there's a certain sense of privacy for that.
Okay. Do you know someone yourself? Is that how do you come into like, alright, I want to discuss drugs and...
Well, I'm very into, I like reading articles, I like reading about mental health, I like reading about gay mental health, and like the number one, like not the number one, but like a topic, even like posting like, oh, what do y'all want to talk about this show? People were saying how this drug use is a very like prominent thing in the gay community, and they feel like it's like crippling.
Okay.
But for me, I know people, but like I said, if I know them, it's more because I've met them through the apps as opposed to real life. You would never know if someone does that unless they brought it up to you. And no one really brings it up to me unless it's, oh, come over. Like, I'm either put into a situation where I'm not really trying to hook up, I want to hang out, and they just pull out this pipe. I've had a moment where I got catfish and this dude pulled out this pipe and he was like, oh, we could just smoke this because I have this, and it's like, I'm like, I was like, one out of every, not to say that I hook up a lot, but 1 every 5 will be someone who will introduce Tina to me. And it's not advertised. It's more like, you come here and I'm going to pull out this pipe because you smoke weed. It's like that.
Well, even more than just Tina, like, if we're talking about drug use across the board, like, cocaine and Molly are also very prevalent. And it's just, like, not even just gay, but just in the party scene, period. Okay. But since we're talking about gay as it relates to us, like, the cocaine is very prevalent in, like, the party scene. Molly is very prevalent in, like, the party scene. And both of those drugs I've used, like, very sparingly because I feel like those drugs don't necessarily serve me in the way that I need to. Like, I found, like, weed works for me. I found what works for me. And, like, I've operated in that mode. But there's some people that just operate in a different mode because they feel like that's what works for them. Okay. And essentially, I guess that's the way to talk about, like, at what level does turning up stop for you? Like, how far do you go?
I think when it becomes your everyday. I'm gonna quote. I watched Sensei, and they said that it's not the problem that you want to take the job; it's the need to escape reality. And I feel like a lot of us use drugs and sex to escape reality.
You know, it's a good movie to watch. What Happened to Miss Nina Simone? She's a Pisces, and I feel like me and her kind of share the experience. Anybody want to know the insides of my life, look at that movie. Not even talking about drugs, but touching on depression. Because, the feds is watching, I know they are. But, I've been Lindsay Lohan for a few years. And, I'm trying to uplift from that place. I'm just trying to be Rihanna, no marijuana. But, with drug use, the thing is, if you're looking at it from a scientific level, like, you know, humans, you know, we naturally have emotions, we have mood swings, you know what I'm saying? You naturally be sad, you naturally be happy, it's all natural, you know? Dopamine, serotonin, all these is major things in your brain that makes you happy, you know? When you use drugs, especially hardcore drugs, you know, they're releasing more dopamine than normal, you know what I'm saying? People want to drink DMT, you know, like people want to drink DMT, and everyone knows what DMT is. Like, you know, you get that when you die, but people want to drink it now, you know, it's a chemical that gets released in your brain.
Is popping considered a drug?
In a way,
yeah. For sex, it's an aid to sex. It's a drug. Yeah.
But like once you deplete your dopamine, like especially like tea and like you know years of coke, Molly use, you popping pills. Well, it depends what pills you popping, but like all of that depletes your dopamine, your serotonin levels. It fucks with your neurotransmitters. You know, it fucks with how your body receives and sends messages. And why it causes depression is because, you know, you forced your body to release more dopamine than normal, so you're stuck on happy all the time. So then all your body knows is to release this amount of dopamine, especially when you're high, you know what I'm saying? So when you're not on the drug, you have less, you're losing dopamine. Like there's an amount of dopamine that everyone has, and some people have more than others, but like once you start using it up, you burn out. It's like when people smoke weed excessively for years, it's like, and they're like, oh, you burn out. Because you burnt out your dopamine. But, you know, I think depression amongst males in the gay community is a conversation.
I don't want to say gay community. I don't want to say males altogether. Because I feel like straight men go through the same shit. You know, like, especially watching Insecure, Lawrence behavior. I hope I'm not spoiling it, but like people who do watch it, Insecure. Lawrence and Issa have been together for 5 years, and when they broke up, Lawrence used fucking as a way to cope with the breakup.
I mean, true.
Okay.
Because, I mean, male depression is something that's not spoke. I feel like we hear depression and we attach it to female issues, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to men. And then men, in my opinion, get less empathy when it comes to depression. But, you know, one thing I do understand with depression, I feel like beyond males, because we people of color here, mental health within the black community is at like a low. Like, you know what I'm saying? We are the people that don't get and seek mental health. You know, we're the people that are not taught to expose ourselves or to heal from traumas. You know what I'm saying? Every other group, you know, they experience some type of healing for their trauma, and yet black people stray from it. You know, like, you know, we tend to have it and feel like time or like, you know, a recessive force is gonna take it away, but like it's something that's going on. You know, what's causing the male depression is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's individualized. You know, I think the issue is that men cannot freely express their depression and freely get help. And I think it's stigmatized, and that's what's withholding it. But, you know, the issues of depression is all individualized if you look at it across the board.
Okay.
Well, Amos, what do you feel like you can contribute towards the depression, specifically for men of color in New York?
Well, I don't know, because I can only speak for myself. I can also speak from awareness of how artists are looked at, and if I'm considering myself as an artist, or if I'm looking at that demographic, then I know that there's a higher frequency of depression for those people. I would say if I were to fall inside that like normal curve of the regular, the common mental health state of an artist plus like a black male, I must have had some encounter with depression at some point in my life, but to me right now, at least I'm thinking, well, I got through it, and I don't know if I've ever identified it as being depressed. So I think in hindsight, things become 20/20, and it's like a difficult thing for me, maybe as an artist, thinking creatively and maybe outside the box. Have I actually been depressed? And like maybe like I'm put in a place, me, very specifically, particularly thinking like, just objectifying it as something is like a bad thing or something that's unenjoyable. So I'm gonna create like a pathway through it.
So you're saying find an outlet. Not necessarily that you're depressed, but if you have a depressed moment, there's your outlet is not so much. It's not that easy.
I don't know, because I don't know. I'm not quoting any like particular numbers, but I think there is some like there are numbers to back up like the statement that artists kind of like are more depressed.
Well,
because I'm only putting that on the table because
there are case studies. Because I remember I saw a book that was like the links between art and schizophrenia.
Right.
And people that are artistic are more left-brained.
Right.
You look at the world more abstractly. And I mean, I don't want to be the one to be like, yeah, artists are crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of artists are brilliant. A lot of artists are misunderstood. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people went down in history as being crazy when they were geniuses after all. We don't acknowledge until after the fact. I'm very, I feel like I'm a super, super artist. Like, I literally do everything in the history of the world. Like, there's nothing creatively that I don't think I can do. I can't do or won't or can't attempt to do.
And do you feel like you've ever, you say you've been Lindsay Lohan, so like, as an artist, I'm talking from my perspective and I'm kind of like, willing to argue that, wait, I'm an artist, so that's kind of like my therapy also, isn't it?
Art is my therapy, but then when you talk about drug use, I'm not gonna lie, when I went to Lindsay Lohan, and people was there, like Michael was there, like, no shade for me, some of what I was doing was assisting creatively. Like, if you do certain things, then, if you do drugs, if you do certain things, I don't want to incriminate myself, I'll tell you anything. When you do certain things, you can apply it to a sex place like TV. People apply that to a sexual place. Mm-hmm. Certain things I've done, like to me, I remember when I was Lindsay Lohan, it was like the worst time of my life. Like, I'm not ashamed to say, like, I go to therapy and psychiatry all based off my moment in time and what I was doing. And, the only thing positive I could say was maybe that was the most mind-freeing time of my life. Mm-hmm. That might have been the most overest collection I ever made. Like, any witness to it, like I had a fashion show, like way turned up for my life, like a whole nother Terrence. But like creatively, that was the best I was ever doing. Now what led me to, go down that rabbit hole, and this is coming back to male depression, because if I had to say the most, I get depressed about a lot of things, but if we talk about the most masculine aspect of my depression as a male, like, at this age, 16, I should I look at certain things, an issue I have is I measure myself to other people and their success, I feel like I should have made it already. I should have had more going on. As the male, my mother's first son, like I feel like I should be in a place where I should be taking care of my family. I should be holding things down. I want my siblings or my mother to ask for anything, and it's not an issue, And not to say it's just a financial thing, but you want to be the best human you could be. Like I know me, like I go and seek help. I get my therapy. It is helping others, and you have to figure out a way. Like for me, beyond money, I want to be mentally sane. Yeah. To indulge and engage my family, engage my friends, have healthy relationships. And if you're not there, it will cause depression.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's what a lot of men probably do have an issue with, because women would talk to guys and they'll like stall from talking to girls they like only because they feel like they're not in a place to talk to a girl. They're not in a place to handle it.
I feel the same way sometimes.
Definitely.
I stall just because like I feel people are above me.
Yeah, and I'm not worthy of more.
Like I want you, but I know like I feel like I don't want to disappoint you in that sense.
Definitely.
And that's crazy because I watched a video about that too when they said how men ghost. I'm gonna say women, but I'm gonna say anyone. Men ghost. It's like that. That reason. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's that self-doubt in our head that I feel like it's true that we put. I want to say white men put themselves up top of the totem pole, so I feel like everyone's trying to scramble to the top. So if we're not at that place in our life, I feel like we're not worthy. So we back off in that sense.
The only freedom, because like I said, adulthood, does show you certain things. The only freedom I have from thinking like that, like I'm not in a perfect place. Like I know I want my mentals together coming to the situation. If we talking about like, you know, successfully, visually, because you know perception is.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't want to interject, but like I want to base off what he said about being an artist, and then conjugate it. Like I went through a period of depression where I went to school for art. I went for musical theater, and I didn't like, you know, I wasn't the star of the musicals. I like, you know, it was kind of like it was a harsh lesson that I learned again, that I learned when I was very young, that all men aren't created equal.
Okay.
And to me, like, I want to be like the star and all that, but like talent and hard work, you know, that all came into it.
Right.
So it was like I felt like I was a little behind my league compared to my peers in school.
Yeah.
Now graduating out of school, I was getting gigs, I was getting paid, and I was watching some of my like fellow classmates like, oh, I'm working here, I'm not really doing, you know. So I felt like, okay, that was my setback in school, and now I have to figure out how can I be marketable as an artist. My main artistic is I'm an actor first, so it was more I was getting roles just because I was eccentric, and then it came to the point where now I'm only getting cast to be eccentric in the sense of, can you play a thug, can you play this? So in the male dominated society, I got depressed because after all those gigs, like it was getting gigs, like I was doing art, I was expressing myself, and it was good. I think what hit my depression was when Sally Mae came to my door and said, hey bitch, it's time to give us money.
No, bitch. I feel you on that.
You know, but, and bills came, and then my mom was very, okay, you need to get a job. And I'm like, I don't want a job. I need to focus on my art. Like, I feel like a job will distract me from doing that. And then I think I quit one job that was very toxic to me. I worked at Urban Outfitters. It was horrible. And then, no, because I worked in Long Island, and then...
I mean, that's how we met, though.
Yeah, I worked in Long Island, but my career and everything was in the city. So I was like, this is too far. I can't even leave work to go to an audition. So I quit my job, and then did temp jobs, and then they weren't paying it. And then it was that point where all my bills were coming.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting, now it's like, I'm so sad that I'm not working on myself to perfect my craft.
Right.
Now I'm sad because it's like, the game of acting changed, where it's like I use actors' access. You had to pay to go on auditions, so it's like now I have to spend pocket just for you to see me and not get cast. So and now I have no money to even go audition. I gotta get headshot. Like, it was really piling on to me, like money, to the point I became so self-absorbed where I won't even say now. I'm definitely a cheap motherfucker when it comes to my money, because I've been in that dark place of where I couldn't practice my art because I was poor, but I know if I get a job, it's going to distract me from more. So it's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to be poor and working a craft and it's still hard, or be working a job you don't like to make money to pay the bills? Right. And with that, I think my coping mechanism wasn't per se drugs, because I feel like artists can tend to drugs for coping to bring that dopamine out. But for me, it was, especially I'm young, I've just been exposed to gay life in New York City. I've lived in like Long Island for like years, and it was dry as fuck out there, and being black. So now I'm experiencing black men, I'm experiencing queer culture, and I got into the party scene a lot. And I'm naturally a socialite, so I was like, oh, I'll go party, I'll get drunk, you know, all that. And then there was a point where I'm broke and that I couldn't even do that. So I was like, I can't even party to make myself happy. I'm not even doing what I need to do artistically to be happy. What is going on for me? Sex. Grind and jack, boom. I'm gonna fuck my feelings out, and then that made me depressed because I'm very relationship oriented. So now I'm fucking everybody, no one wants to date me. So it's like I was to the point where I was like, I'm about to end my life on some real shit. Like, it was really at that point. It's not to play around with that. I was a very deep, pivotal point. And then I was surrounding myself with toxic people. And they weren't helping me. Like, I've had friends where, like, there was one point I was so broke, like, I couldn't even take the train. And my friend was like, no, he was from Long Island, and he had a car. I didn't have a car at this point. I had no, like, you know, and then he would take me to the city, and then he would, like, leave me. Like, I'm trapped in the city now with no money, no way, and I live in freaking Rosedale, the tip.
Don't let that experience pass your 30s, because no shade at 16.
At 16.
I just feel like you know, when you reach a certain age, you can't do certain shit. That shit is so crazy. Like, you know, and that shit is depressing.
It is.
Because no shit, I'm not going to backtrack too hard, but even when you say your school experience, my shit was the reverse. Like, I swear to God, the way I was popping in school, I thought I was going to be John Galliano coming out of fashion school, or like Alexander McQueen. And coming out, like, I would not get no job, son. Every time I tried to get a job, it was like, told the story of my life. Like, it was just like, I was not getting hired, and I really think I'm like, I think I'm talented enough where I should be getting hired and I should be able to get these things in. I would go to real places, I would go to Ralph Lauren, I would go to Gap, you know what I'm saying? I went to Cashier, I went to all these places, and like, they would be like, oh, you're too talented, you're too this, you're too that, you know? When you hear that after a while and you want to succeed, it's like, that shit do get depressing, like, you know, like, all that I'm doing right now, like, I'm drastically trying to jump my career and do some next shit, because I feel like my fashion is not working. I don't want to get rid of fashion, because I feel like that's my life, like, that's my fucking life, but it's sad when you go to school for something that's your career, and then you can't excel at it. And you know, because we people
I'm in debt. The bills, the reason why I'm depressed is because of what I went to school for.
They can go suck them money. Okay,
suck them money.
They would never get no money. Why? Because you know, it's first of all, we the only country like Switzerland, Canada. These places got free tuition. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, we the only country like you go to school, you pay for it, and then not get a job. Like, that shit is crazy to me. And I feel like that within itself is depressing. You know, I feel like, you know, we are in a heteronormative society, and I feel like gay men it's a white heteronormative, but then, you know, black people follow it, other races follow it. You know, the man is the head of the household. You provide, you have your wife, she home takes, she home kids, she mothers into kids. You know what I'm saying? Y'all find y'all community wherever y'all find y'all community in the center. And I just feel like, mindset-wise, money shouldn't rule our minds, but that's the mainest thing that set our shit off in America and the world.
So what should rule our minds?
No, let me go there. You know, everyone that's individualized. Everyone has a point of focus, but we talking about the overall.
There's some people who are better off than others as well.
Money is an issue. Everyone wants to be successful. Everyone wants to live and keep up. You know what I'm saying? We're in New York City. Every year, every day, everything gets more expensive. You know what I'm saying? Imagine one day you wake up and you can't take care of yourself. Like, that shit is crazy. And then you want to have healthy relationships. You want to have a love life. But then you find yourself in a place where it's like, you're holding yourself down to the tightest place. And then you're trying to figure out how to share that with somebody else. You know? All those things is like heavy. It's heavy. You know what I mean? But I mean, if we talking about things on our mind, like, that's individualized. You know what I'm saying? If your main focus is your money, then, like, you know, until your money is together, then you won't be happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if your main focus is your love life, then, you know, you won't be happy, you know?
I will admit that. I think I want to say cracked, and was like, let me just work an office job. I would have And having money in my pocket, I will say, like, I go up, I'm still young, so I feel like I still spend money to go up and turn up, but, like, I'm such a cheap bitch that it helps me save money. So it's like, okay, now I have more money to do things. So I've been traveling. I've been trying to unlock other parts of my brain, find things that bring happiness that's not just sex and drugs and partying. And I will say, I'm not to say that I'm depressed, but I'm in a better spot where, like, I still feel like I really want to take the leap of faith and focus more on my career and just be all in it. But I feel like, especially how times weren't how they were back then, where people could just go out on the street, do a little dance, and you're famous. Now it's like you gotta build, you gotta work your jobs to make income. And meet the right people.
No shade. I always say I hate when people are not from New York, because I feel like New Yorkers have a harder time popping off than people that come out of state. People come out of state and pop off tomorrow. They successful. They came from Minnesota.
Of course,
shit, you know?
I feel that.
And I feel like,
well, why do you think that is? I think New Yorkers probably are used to the opportunities being there.
we take advantage of the opportunities.
We take advantage of the fact that they are the next step to our dream has been at our back door the whole time, or next door, and we just have to take it.
But I feel like we didn't know that until we realized people outside moving in were like, I'm here for this, I'm here for that, and we're like, oh, you know? Because for me, I will say, like, in the whole acting aspect, I probably did, but I will say as a black man living in Rosedale and Southside Jamaica, all that area, there wasn't very much artistic programs. I went to junior high school 231. They had an academy called ACT, and it was ACT. And I'd say there was only one drama class, one music class. It was very like lackluster black education, public education of what you needed to do.
Schools are underfunded out
of course
schools, you know, and then art is something that they want to cut overall, whether it's a private school or charter school. Art and music,
physical education,
and physical education, you know, and that just shows you where we at in society, you know. What's my train of thought just now? What did you just say?
Saying how oh damn, where was
schools having the programs.
Like I feel like these people outside excel more because their schools are way more. I feel their public schools are built better.
I just feel like people come out of state and they do everything, and I feel like I'm pretentious when it comes to fashion. Like it's certain things I won't do. Like as much as I love fashion, I have never worked fashion retail, and that's something like my ego is like, bitch, you got a whole degree in fashion design. Like how can I sell clothes? Like you know, and I've never done that. But like I know people that have done retail and have climbed the retail ladder, you know, like in 5 years, 10 years, they can probably be a creative director or something just because they started at retail. So that's about taking a chance and risk. I feel like when we're in New York,
I don't want to waste time either.
You don't want to waste time, but sometimes you look, like I'm not going to front. Like Heist is about fantasy. Like in my mind, I'm lit and I live out my lit fantasy, you know, but then to take time and really do your craft and really put yourself out there. Like right now, like, you know, I'm scared, but I'm doing random shit I ain't never tried before. And you know, it's a certain freedom to that, but like when you're depressed, like you feel locked down. He was talking about what you should put your mind on. Like for me, like I don't give a fuck how crazy I am. Like I believe in God. Like you know what I'm saying. That's something that's always in my mind when it comes to like depression. And that's the only reason why I make it through depression. And you know, I have fucked up days, I have good days, but like you know, yeah, my money fucked up, my relationships be fucked up.
So how about this?
Okay, we're acting here. People have to bring you on. But like we in an era which I'm adapting to myself, but like social media is the way to like
I'm trying to find
people are like doing dumb shit just to attract attention to themselves, just to pop off in different areas. Mm-hmm. Because I realize the people that are social media successful are social media successful for one thing, but successful for some other shit. And that's what they're doing, they're attracting themselves. Like for me, broadening my artistry, trying to do performance art, that's more about bringing visual attention to myself. Because with fashion, I'm very behind scenes. Nobody really knows that I'm the designer. But people that are famous are known because people see them. You know what I'm saying? It's every day. Like, you know, think about it that aspect. Like,
well, bringing it back to depression and bringing it back to men of color and how it affects us. A lot of men of color are artists. And a lot of men of color follow the same similar plight of trying to find acceptance, trying to find success within their industry, and trying to feel fulfilled doing that success while trying to survive, especially in a place like here in New York City. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a product of depression ends up being a product of all of that because we're trying to level ourselves up to or measure ourselves up to a standard that is not necessarily made for an artist or not necessarily made realistically for people like us, because we have a lot of things we have to go through, a lot of hurdles we have to overcome, and a lot of things that we have to get in place in order to be successful artists. We need stability, we need a following, we need success in our artistry, we need confidence in ourselves, and a lot of that stuff is not accessible to us as we're trying to build ourselves. So thus we're depressed, and thus we resort to things like drugs or like sex. Me myself, I went through a period of feeling very low and feeling very lacking, and my resort was sex. And then, you know, it avenue to like things like drugs where I experimented. Thankfully, I'm the sort of individual that knows what is and isn't for me, and no matter how much I'm depressed or however I'm feeling, if a certain drug is not going to move me, or if a certain drug is going to put me in a certain place, I'm just not going to do it. Mm-hmm. However, like, sex is an aspect of myself that I utilize when I feel like I'm just not exceeding or I'm not satisfied. And it forms like a placeholder.
I want to just end it right here. I'm thinking we're passing the 40-minute mark. I want to thank everyone for coming. Thank you for opening up. It's very tough to talk about dark periods and depressions and very hard things that we go through in our lives. And I hope the audience viewers watching, I hope you can find whatever you can in this to reflect and show like we need help and people out there need help, and just be kind to one another because you don't know what battles everyone's facing.